A decisive thud sounded as Jin Runcandel stood up. His hand pressed firmly into the ground, his sapphire eyes gleaming with unwavering resolve. He whispered to himself, "All right, I've made up my mind." A brilliant golden light flooded in, enveloping Jin's figure as he straightened, his cloak fluttering behind him. As he shed his cloak and strode towards the window, a bold and ruthless plan formed in his mind. He mused, "I will terrorize Moonlight Well from this very room with magic. Once I combine my 4-star shadow energy, I'll possess destructive power equivalent to 6 stars. When I use magic at that level, they'll surely assume it must be at least a 6-star magician. Who would suspect a mere 15-year-old could be a 6-star magician? No one. Even Veridin Zippel only just became a 6-star magician." His final thoughts echoed over a chaotic, blood-soaked crimson landscape. Jin smirked faintly, a perfect plan slowly forming in his mind. Moreover, thanks to the properties of dark energy, I won't leave any magical traces, so there will be no reason to suspect me. If I want to fake the scene to look like an outside attack, just summoning a lightning bolt will be enough. As soon as he finished speaking, the shadows at Jin's feet began to ripple, surging like a living creature. Dark tendrils of mist crept out from his heels, spreading across the floor. Jin shouted, "Release the dark energy!" Immediately, a vortex of blue and pitch-black energy erupted from his position, engulfing the entire space in an endless night. Dark tentacles stretched out, fierce and chaotic, obliterating everything in sight. When the energy storm subsided, only a dense black void remained. Jin stood there alone, quietly admiring the power he had just unleashed. He murmured softly, his voice echoing in the absolute silence. "Truly." Amidst the pitch-black void, cerulean lightning bolts began to crackle from the void, crackling and coiling around Jin's fingers. He thought to himself, "No matter how I look at it, this is a crazy plan." Despite the plan's recklessness, an excited, somewhat wild smile bloomed on Jin's lips. The electric current grew increasingly fierce, erupting around his body like a cloak of thunder. His black hair stood on end, tinged with the eerie blue of the lightning, and a bead of sweat trailed down his temple, proof of the extreme tension. The energy swirled into a powerful torrent, the lightning no longer disparate sparks, but coalescing into a pure electric serpent, writhing and roaring in his palm. The power reached its zenith. Jin's hair turned a brilliant silver white, standing erect in the energy storm. His eyes, once deep cerulean, now became 2 powerfully glowing, dazzling gems. His smile grew more ferocious, shining with unshakable resolve as he roared, unleashing all accumulated power. "Summon lightning!" A terrifying surge of energy exploded, engulfing the entire street in a dazzling sea of blue light. Furious lightning bolts danced, tearing through space and pulverizing everything in their path. As the aftershock subsided, leaving behind a devastated void and scorched earth, Ceres Endorma stared in stunned witness to the entire event. Her icy blue eyes widened, reflecting the shimmering residual light of the lightning bolts. Her long, flowing platinum hair billowed in the wind, carrying the heat of the explosion. A smile of delight and astonishment bloomed on her lips, and she murmured to herself, "Well, looks like I picked the wrong day to show up." Before her, at the epicenter of the devastation, electric currents still crackled and danced around Jin's figure, creating a scene both beautiful and terrifying, a testament to an unimaginable power. Amidst the swirling icy air, the white-masked guardian spoke in a low, muffled voice, his eyes filled with vigilance. "It seems some high-level mage holds a grudge against the Moonwell." Standing beside him, Ceres Endorma, bewildered, quickly gave way to a more terrifying speculation. "That might be true, but perhaps our ice palace is their target." The guardian froze at her words. In an instant, the look of shock on Ceres's face vanished, replaced by resolve and coldness. She looked directly at the guardian, her voice clear and authoritative. "There are 6 of our members in the inn. Furthermore, Alcaro, my mother's lover, is also inside. Let's go. No matter what happens to Alcaro, prioritize the lives of our members above all else." "Understood, my lady," the guardian and his comrades immediately replied without hesitation, and then the group rushed off into a cloud of dust. However, the sky suddenly darkened, and a resounding roar like thunder echoed. Giant blue lightning bolts tore across the gloomy sky, before striking the ground directly. An earth-shattering explosion rang out, and a furious burst of blue energy sent everything nearby flying. The ground suddenly shook violently and shattered into pieces under an unexpected attack. Amidst the desolation, one of the group screamed in rage, "Damn it! Who did this? You bastard! You said you killed the Zippel mages. Aren't they back for revenge now?" "That was just a lie," another person retorted exasperatedly. Amidst the chaos, Hayton ground his teeth, his fists clenched in fury. "Damn it!" Seeing him about to lose control, Ceres frantically reached out, her platinum hair fluttering in the chaotic wind. "Wait, Hiton!" But her plea was too late. A massive blue energy surge, glowing brightly and crackling like lightning, suddenly erupted. Countless fragments were swept into the energy vortex, turning the scene into a horrific mess. As the dazzling light gradually subsided, the group stumbled to their feet amidst the ruins. The ground was cracked open, and blue electrical sparks still fizzed everywhere. Someone exclaimed in astonishment amidst the devastation. "What the hell is this?" Amidst the space shrouded in golden dust and the aftershocks of immense energy, Ceres' platinum hair billowed in the wind. She squinted, observing the desolate scene before her, and remarked to her bodyguard, "Considering its power, this is probably the final attack." The bodyguard respectfully replied, "Yes, my lady." Ceres' icy blue eyes swept across the ruined battlefield, unable to hide her concern. "I hope everyone is safe." Meanwhile, at the explosion's epicenter, a hand gripped a sharp rock, struggling to lift a body. Jin groaned, exhaustion spreading throughout. He stumbled up, breathing heavily, his face smudged with dirt. Asterisk. Perhaps because I had exhausted all remaining dark energy for that final lightning bolt, yet its power neared 7-star. Luckily, thanks to the pendant, I avoided fatal injuries, Jin thought, his hand instinctively touching the softly glowing blue object on his chest. He surveyed his surroundings. The Ice Palace warriors, though injured, all seemed to have survived. Asterisk. But where's Alcaro? If he's alive, this would be a good opportunity. Jin's thoughts were abruptly cut short as he noticed something unusual. He froze, his sharp gaze directed towards one direction. Huh? Ceres Endorma stood there, her shimmering platinum hair contrasting with the surrounding chaos. Her icy blue eyes looked down at Jin, and she calmly, with a hint of surprise, said, "So there's someone my age in Mammoth too." Jin looked up, his dirt-smeared face showing a fleeting look of surprise. Ceres tilted her head slightly, her tone shifting from curious to commanding. "Are you all right? It seems you've also been caught in this attack. It's best to get out of here quickly. Hurry up and get on your feet." Just then, a masked man, one of Ceres' subordinates, rushed over to report. "Milady, our members are over there. They have some injuries, but all are safe." Ceres let out a faint sigh of relief, but her eyes immediately turned sharp. She commanded decisively, "What a relief! Tell everyone to gather outside. If they are still escorting Alcaro, just tell them to kill him." Her cruel words astonished Jin, who was still kneeling nearby. The subordinate did not hesitate for a moment, immediately bowing. "Understood." After giving the life or death command, Ceres continued to analyze the situation with terrifying composure. Since all the magic seemed similar, this attack was definitely carried out by a single person. "If you find any mages, apprehend them." "Yes, milady," the subordinate replied, and quickly departed to execute the order. Jin quietly observed the girl in front of him, the aura of authority emanating from her almost palpable. In his mind, the pieces began to connect. Is she the daughter of the Ice Palace's master? Considering what she said, it seems. Putted. So, she came here to deal with Alcaro. He was going to die anyway, no need to check, I guess. The problem is what happens next. It'll be a huge bother if the Ice Palace master's daughter remembers my face. Realizing the danger, Jin frantically brought his hands to cover his face, trying to conceal as much as possible. He told himself to pretend to be an unwitting passerby caught in this mess, then find a way to escape quickly. Meanwhile, one of the Ice Palace guards approached Ceres, bowing his head to report, "Milady, regrettably, Alcaro died from the magic explosion earlier. We failed in escorting him." Contrary to the guard's regret, Ceres replied coldly, her icy blue eyes unmoving. "Is that so? Good then. I came here precisely so you wouldn't have to bother escorting him. You've already had a hard time dealing with that fool's temper." The guard was stunned by her confession, only able to stammer, "Milady." Ignoring her subordinate's astonishment, Ceres proudly stepped forward. Under the scorching desert sun, she raised her sword to the sky. Her authoritative voice echoed everywhere, declaring to the stunned onlookers, "From now on, this inn will be under the control of the Ice Palace." Ceres' icy blue eyes blazed fiercely as she declared loudly, "I am Ceres Endorma. I am the daughter of Teleria, the mistress of the Ice Palace and the commander of the 7 swords of the Ice Palace." Her gaze swept over the hostile-looking men, her voice sharp, carrying an undeniable warning. "Anyone who opposes this will be considered an enemy of the Ice Palace." The tense silence was quickly broken. A man in a fedora, his mustache trembling with rage, roared back, pointing a finger directly at Ceres' face. "Don't be ridiculous. Whether or not you are the daughter of the Ice Palace mistress, this is Mammoth. The kings of this city are the ones who govern here. Your assertion of control here is clearly beyond your limits. It might even be the Ice Palace itself that caused us to be attacked." In response to the blatant accusation and challenge, Ceres' face became cold. Her previously blazing eyes now sank into stillness, concealing her emotions. She said nothing. Immediately, a blast of biting cold energy erupted from beneath her feet, spreading outwards at terrifying speed. Ceres lunged to take his life in an instant. "I believe I already said, if you resist, you will be considered enemies of the Ice Palace." A chilling aura enveloped the dusty ruins as Ceres Endorma appeared, her ice sword radiating an ethereal blue light. King of Mamet? Does claiming kingship in this dump mean the Ice Palace is to be disrespected? If it's revealed this attack targeted the Ice Palace, you'll receive adequate compensation. She calmly walked amidst the rubble, her platinum hair gently swaying in the wind. Then she stopped, her tone sharpening. However, if the wizard's target was one of you, and the Ice Palace was merely collateral damage, what should we do? Her question was like a knife to the heart, causing a mustachioed man to flinch, his face paling. That! Instantly, an extremely chilling surge of ice energy erupted from Ceres. Do you not see clearly why we should have authority here? Faced with an irresistible force, the men could only silently bow their heads. Seeing this, Ceres smirked faintly, retracting the chilling aura. Ha! Very well, do as you wish. We all agree that we should find and kill that wizard. Of course. First, we should search among the survivors. It's certainly not our people. There isn't a single wizard here. Ceres said coldly. However, who knows what scum like you did to anger others? Consider your defiance to end here. With that, she turned away, no longer paying them any mind, her gaze fixed on another spot amidst the ruins. And you, she spoke, looking at Jin, who was sitting on the jagged rubble. Why is a kid like you here? Didn't I tell you to get lost? Jin looked up at her, his face smeared with dust, but still managing a somewhat forced smile. He stammered. Well, it was a bit scary. My leg is also injured. Sorry. Hearing this, Ceres burst out laughing, her initial annoyance fading, replaced by amusement. Haha, you're truly a timid man. Why is a swordsman acting so cute? Here, roll up your pant leg. As she spoke, she took out a small ointment box, its lid clicking open softly. In any case, you're quite lucky to have survived this attack. Jin softly let out an ah, and slowly rolled up his pant leg. Ceres knelt before him, her platinum hair flowing like a waterfall, gently swaying. She solemnly declared as she applied ointment to his wound. I, Ceres, am applying medicine to you. Consider it an honor. Faced with this unexpected kindness, Jin secretly thought, how should I repay this kindness? Ceres Endorma beamed a radiant smile, her eyes curving with delight. She looked at Jin, her tone a mix of pride and sincerity. Oh, forget it, it's nothing major. Besides, how could someone like you ever repay someone like me? Just consider it a few more good memories for you. If you ever recall this, occasionally send a greeting to the Ice Palace. Well, goodbye. With those words, Ceres turned on her heel. Her long platinum hair billowed in the wind, her pristine white gown with intricate snowflake patterns swayed gently, as she raised her hand for a final wave. Her graceful figure slowly disappeared into the distance, leaving Jin alone amidst the ruins. Jin stood silently, watching her go. He gently raised a hand, a fleetingly sad, yet sincere smile gracing his dirt-smeared face. When Ceres' figure had completely vanished from sight, the smile on Jin's face faded. His gaze became sharp and resolute, as if all his recent soft emotions had been neatly put away. Soch, mission complete.